Okay, now it's streaming. So what happened is I started recording on the OSB, but I didn't start recording on the YouTube. So okay, we are now live.
Yes. Okay. We are all good right now. So this week we have got five participants and and pra practicing remote viewing for the target number 70462582, and this target uh is from the remote viewing target pools on Lynn Buchanan's website, and that target corresponds to a date, which is 2007 August 22nd. And before target reveal, and I would like to everyone to look at our submitted data and make our best guess of what the target could be, and then we shall do the target reveal. So the first one is from Snowblind, and initial impression: outdoor environment and large scale reddish light, ground, wind, and there is land, and it's an outdoor environment, and sand dust red, cliff field or vertical land. And for water, no, snowblind doesn't perceive. He doesn't perceive water, and if he feels that is natural, dry, rocky, dusty, and not many plants at all. And for man-made structure, snowblind feels that is yes, it's somewhat man-made built and buildings in the distance or I can't read that word. Sorry. Uh, and for energy, yes, he feels that he feels winds blowing and red light. Not sure if it's sunset or through the dust in the air, and feels like industrial somehow. And for people, and yes, it's nearby or in the buildings, but cannot figure out what they are doing here. It feels like work or mission of some sort.
Yeah, so
So
the building in the distance squarish. And the other thing is this is what I felt. So I felt it almost the same exact thing. Very dry, very little vegetation, and it does feel like you have a group working, and you also have like a tourist thing. So yeah, his data matches mine really good. Yeah, that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
And for the summary part, he says that this feels like both the the Mars tar the the Mars target or the Moses target. I'm looking down at the valley. Everything is rocky and wind and dusty and and blown around, or everything is ready somehow. There are buildings in the distance, people near me, but I feel like I'm playing playing what? I can't read that word.
Okay, hold on, let me take a look at it.
So
I'm playing
and I can't.
tag with him. So he's
Oh,
basically
playing tag with them.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I can see what they are doing. They
Slippery
are slippery
to me. Yeah, so basically
to me.
he's playing tag with somebody that he can't touch or
Uh-huh.
won't hold still. So whoever it is, they won't hold still and he can't interact with them.
Uh-huh. And he feels he has some industrial feelings, that is but he also feels that it's not what the target is about.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
I would say very, very detailed description for a target. Yeah. Because it gives me a concrete idea of what the target could be. We don't know if it's good data or missed data, but yeah, at least it's a very concrete description.
yep.
And moving on is from Birdie. So what do we have here? Uh,
She's got that red and
red,
orange.
red and oranges. So in terms of color, I would say Birdie's data is very similar to Snowblind's and semicircle, but don't know why. And bird's eye view. So Birdie is perceiving the target maybe somewhere in the sky, from somewhere far above. And smell heat and gas like a grill, maybe burning wood. So it pretty much matches the industrial feeling that Snowblind thought of the target.
Well, she also smells that
And
summer asphalt, so that kind of an organic smell.
uh-huh, yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much all she perceived from this target. Even though it's not I would say it's not concrete enough for us to make any deduction for what the target could be. But I would say the data pretty much matches that of snowblinds. Okay,
Yeah.
so moving on, is your data. So what did you get from this, Jeff?
So just like snowblind, I got a dry area, slight wind or breezy. Looking off to the distance, you got lensing of the ground. So when you look at the ground is not. It lenses. It gets you false impressions. So it's hot. Far off
Mm-hmm.
hills, not a lot of greenery. You had a structure square-like. Uh, the AOL was a landing space shuttle, and it felt like a big hangar. And then
Uh,
I got a real touristy feel, like tourists were watching. And then I also got this structure here, which was either a house or an office, but it was different than the large structure. And there you see the far off hills. And then
uh,
the second set, I got this image of a crack or a break and energy flowing off the sides, but there's a crack or a break. Oh my god, is this a space shuttle? Huh. Structure, vegetation, mountain, power. These are my ideograms. Uh, it was whitish, and again with the trees in the distance, the ridge line, very little vegetation. And the last of it, when I'm just about ready to wrap up, I got these two ovoids or dots, and there's energy being directed down. I don't know if that's related or has anything to do with anything, but the energy being directed down felt like either communication or something.
I would say that's pretty good data. Yeah, lots of data, and I would say it's also good enough for readers to make some deductions about it because yeah, you give it very concrete ideas.
So
Okay, so
this is
sorry.
yours.
Oh yeah, next one is mine. Yeah, as usual is I I'm not good at remote viewing, but I try to do my best. So this is my data. I don't know what the target is, even though I can theoretically cheat and see in advance, but I don't do that. So my first for ideogram, I just draw a wavy line. I don't know what that could mean, so I just write wavy. And I always do remote viewing with my eyes closed. And when I close my eyes, I don't know what I see, but I feel that there are two circular objects uh on the upside, and I see a gigantic sphere on the downside, and I don't know what that means, and it feels like white, and I can see some dots glowing. If that's a view from the outer space, that could make sense. I don't know. Yeah, I just draw it, and I don't know whether it's natural or man-made. I just have no idea. And I also have an impression that I'm looking at the target at the beach, but I don't think that's the case. Yeah, it's just some random things popping out of my mind when I'm doing remote viewing.
Well,
Yeah.
the interesting thing is I didn't pick up water, but Dave did, you did, It just I did not pick it up at all.
It's just some random
Hey, do you
picture
got
of
your is your YouTube playing?
popping out of my mind when I'm yes, YouTube is playing. It's running good.
Yeah, turn down the audio just a little bit there, would you?
What do you mean?
Can
Because if I turn on the audio, it will interfere with our live stream.
no turn
You will hear echoes.
right, but your audio is playing.
Oh, really?
Oh,
What do you mean?
I can hear audio. I thought it was from you, but I guess it might be coming from somewhere else.
You will hear echoes. Okay, I just turned off my audio, so I think it's good for it's good now.
That's kind of weird because I can still hear it. I wonder if I'm playing it. Holy crap!
So do you still hear echoes?
Yeah.
That's weird because the volume has been turned off.
Huh.
You are not supposed to hear echoes.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's pretty minimal, so we're gonna ignore it. Hey, did you see Dave's data?
Oh yes, I didn't post everything here. It's just you should look at the PDF file from Dave.
It's
I
huge.
think I've done 5 or 6 Lin targets and I haven't hit a single one. So I doubt I hit.
Just and yeah, he basically provide a very long description. Yeah, and a very detailed drawing for what he thinks the target could be, and he also describe how how
Well, it's
how everything he feels he perceive about the target. So Dave, can you just because your data is quite I would say quite a lot compared to ours. Can you give us a brief a short version of what you think the target could be?
Yeah. So I record the session. I toss it to Otter AI to get a transcript. I then ask
Yeah.
ChatGPT to give me some stuff on that. So the impressions are of a structure with vertical right angles, so horizontals and verticals, resembling a bridge over a waterway with elements of an urban environment. Descriptions include concrete surfaces, a potentially scenic yet non-functional water feature, and structured land. So we were talking about this, like if nobody ever gets tasked with like a brick roadway or something, right? Is that structure or is it land? It's somewhere in between where it's something like that with something artificial. There were pillars, there was liquid. The overall environment of it evoked the feeling of being a tourist in a city with structures connecting between various components. And yeah, I didn't get red or anything. I got all gray, emerald, or dark blue stone like textures and stuff.
Okay,
Thanks.
very good. So do you perceive color in this session or
Just the kind of neutral colors that you see there on that AI image,
oh okay
kind of just
okay.
like that. Yeah.
Oh, I have a question for you because
Mhm.
Leora is not here today, but I once asked her how she do how she does her remote viewing. She she told me once that she just keep when she tried to do remote viewing, she just keep asking questions. What's the for example, what's the color of it? Is it yellow? Is it red? Is it white? And she will get a response from I don't know from some unknown source. Like and she will just give it a check or give it a cross, and that's how she perceives some sensory data. Yeah, for remote viewing. Okay, so I think that's all for our all submitted data. And now now is for the fun part. Before the target reveal, I would like to everyone to have a best guess of what this target could be after looking at all the submitted data. Because we all know that remote viewing, uh, sometimes we cannot in most cases, we cannot just get everything right from just one single session. But theoretically, if we collect different if we collect a bunch of data from different independent remote viewers, and maybe we can make an educated guess as to what the target could be, and ideally we should be able um, to uh, to eliminate the contaminations and bad data, as long as we just focus on the common grounds we have here. Like for example, we all perceive some like there's a natural environment, and there is there is buildings, and so we can probably be confident to say that in this target it's a natural environment, and with man-made structures, and possibly some human activities. And yeah, I would say so far that's why I can confidently tell about what the target is. But what as to what the building is, and what's the functions, or what are people doing there, I just don't know. Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, we all have different data, and there should be a common ground between all our data, or at least some of our data. What I don't
Yeah.
understand is why we got two distinct areas. I mean,
Yeah, one with water and one without water.
yeah. I mean, both Dave and Snowblind have definitely got a uh, man-made with water and the structure thing. Whereas me and you and Void. Oh wait, no, did Void get? She got water too.
Uh-huh.
This is gonna be interesting. Let's look at that target.
Yeah, and before target review, I also noticed that one interesting thing is that it seems that all participants all perceive the data from somewhat like a bird eye view. Yeah, we so it pa- it could mean that the target is maybe is quite if there is a the area could be extensive, and the target could be something like a large scale, probably located in a large scale environment. We just don't know where it is. But it seems that we all perceive the target, yeah, from somewhere above. Okay, so let's do the target reveal, and 2007 August 22nd. 2000 August 22nd.
So the target, looking down a valley, everything is rocky, winds, blust, everything is reddish somehow. Yeah, me and
Click
Snow,
here for
we're
response.
very similar.
What? What's that?
Are we totally wrong?
Probably.
Well, if it's totally wrong, if it is totally wrong, we it's still something that's quite interesting, because I don't know. I just don't know why we can be we can be all wrong at the same time.
I'm telling you, I've never hit anything remotely close in Lynn's pool. I don't know why.
2007 August 22nd. Let me check again. 2007 August 22nd.
Let me take a gander at it real quick.
Yes, that's the target. That's the target.
Well, we got the hot rate. The Japanese. So this is a
There's red.
contest in Texas. Well, okay, Laredo, Texas. So me and Snow are definitely on the right area, but we did not. And it's a tourist attraction, so I got the tourist attraction, and that is a freaking hot, wet area. Oh my God, we failed miserably. Why did we not see that? Look at the dude's expression. You know he's eating something that's just gonna kill. Can you guys see that? Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to the data. I'll tell you what. I like this picture here, Dave, because that's how much water that guy's gonna have to drink in order to quell the fire. So first
And
impression.
on Link Buchanan's website, I see that he describes this target is a emotional target,
But see, I didn't.
mildly emotional for some remote viewers. Emotional targets can be positive or negative, and can give the viewers feelings of inspiration, surprise, fear. Yeah,
Okay, so I think I missed big time.
I of course I missed it. I'm not surprised here because I know my hit rate is not good, but I just don't. Well, I have to say that it's the first time I try to remote view uh this kind of target. And yeah, on Lynn Buchanan's website, he described it as an emotional target. So it's not asking remote viewers to perceive a location or a yeah or an activity. Maybe this can be counted as an activity.
So both Lynn and Birdie uh, hit it pretty good. Uh,
What?
yeah,
No, we did. I don't think I hit anything.
no, Lynn and Birdie. You see, where'd that? Am I looking at the data? Oh, okay. So Birdie's data is talking about a semicircle, and if I go back to the target page, there you go. Plus, it's hot as hell. So a lot of her data matches up with. And then the same with Snowblind. Snowblind's on the outside of the building, and there's a lot of people there. He's got the industrial feel, but both him and I'm thinking him and Birdie did a hell of a lot better than I did. But
Wow, I would say Birdie's data. Well, looking backwards, Birdie's data is quite, even though it's quite vague, but I would say the descriptors she gave is quite good, actually.
if we go off,
She's not describing any structure or environment, but she's definitely telling us the emotions and the feelings she get.
I wonder what that S up is. Let's see. She's typing some. Oh, where was this? Oh, Texas. Yeah. Oh shit. That's pretty good. Uh, I'm gonna say that's he did pretty good for a blind target. I like it. We're gonna look at the. Let me go back to the target here. So it's an eating contest, jalapeno eating contest. Oh my god, I can't even imagine. And it's hot as hell there. I don't know if you guys know Laredo, Texas, but it's hot, it's humid, and it's right on the river. So yeah, that's a win. We got two winners. Where's Dave's? Dave, I didn't see your. What was the rest of your data? When you're looking at that, when you're looking at the target, did you pick up any spice, heat, or emotions? Any touristy feel?
No, I got a touristy location feel. None of us even got a biological.
No, that's the kind of weird thing.
But
It's it's interesting that we didn't get a feel for the people that would be crowded into that building.
yep.
But we got, well, I should say, everybody else got a lot of the aspects of it. So it was a miss, but it was a hell of a hit for Birdie and Snow. I mean, they did, as far as I'm concerned, they did pretty good. So I don't know. I'll let you figure out how you want to call that one, Lynn. because that's a that's a pretty basic target. Oh, where'd Lynn go?
I'm now looking at the Google map and see and check where Laredo is.
Oh, you're checking on Laredo. Yeah, what you should see
Uh,
is a couple buildings, and there should be a river not too far away. So there is. It's got. I'm trying to remember which river is running through there, but it's a big river and it's slow moving. Uh, they don't have the location on this, do they?
no. I wish we can have a location picture because
Yeah,
yeah, on Lynn Buchanan's website, we don't see the exact location where this contest is held.
yeah, and that's kind of frustrating because a lot of us Laredo miss the target, but we
No, no,
get
no,
the.
no. Sorry, Jeff. I kind of disagree here. I would say this time, it's clear that we didn't hit the target very well, but I won't call it a miss because remember in the past we also try to do some targets
Oh,
and after target reveal initially we feel that we all missed the target, but after because you know that we used uh to use the practice targets from far side and some some of the targets can have we can check the exact location and when we look at the exact location on Google Map, we know that the remote viewers do pick up something. For example, I remember that there is one target that is in Africa in Congo
oh,
w-
yeah.
and Snowblind pick up that there are rivers nearby and for for me, I didn't pick up vehicles, but I pick up smoke, and and later after we check the Google Map, we know that the target location, the target is a railway, and you can see a train running on a bridge. So initially we feel that we missed the target, but after looking backwards, yeah, if we can get more data about the location, we find out that remote viewers actually do pick up something, but it's not something you can check directly on the target assigning page.
Right.
Yeah, you have to look at it yourself. So I would say because in Lynn Buchanan's website, he didn't give us the exact location, so we have no data to verify our claims, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the location and the surrounding environment we describe here is a miss. We can only say that we don't know, and no, yeah, but I won't call it a miss. I would call it unknown.
Well, we're
Yeah,
gonna
if I have to put it a word, I would say it's an unknown.
so we're gonna call it
Yeah.
an unknown. But the other thing about it is the Rio Grande runs through. It runs through Laredo. That's the river that Dumbledore is looking at. And usually they hold this event in a particular location. So,
Yeah.
and
Since I have to say that in because this time, like almost like 80 or 90% of the data from remote viewers are mainly focused mm, on the what should I say environment part instead of the sensory part. So I would say this time Birdie's data is the best in terms of quality because her data, yeah, almost like every word is relevant. But for us, almost like every word is unknown. We have no way to verify whether
Right.
it's a miss or a hit. We just don't know.
Right. And that's true. I mean that, and that's what I was saying is hers is basically the cleanest of the three of us since it is a known. Her.
Yeah, because we all focus too much on the environmental aspect of the target. But in this case, we just cannot verify that part.
Yeah. Yeah. February 22. So that's a known. We should be able to actually pull that up and find where that was held at too. So, but yeah, I do like Birdie's data, and for as short as small as it is, I'm pretty sure that's a pretty good fit. You go,
So
Birdie.
I also find something interesting here that that is uh more data does not necessarily mean that better data because sometimes we may be too much focused on the aspect that is not necessarily the focus of a target.
Well, that and we get distracted. I mean, we can go off on a tangent and look at it completely the wrong thing.
Yes,
It's like
yes,
my two little
yes.
ovaries.
I do believe that distraction is a big thing in remote viewing session because all remote viewers we all work blind and we don't know what is important and what is not. So it's really hard to I would say it's very hard to for remote viewers to get the data that the client wants.
Well, on that note, Dave, you want to take it away there?
What am I taking away?
So, all this time, me and Lynn have been going blind. We've been trying to do CRV. We do okay, and I came up with this great idea about taking people places and doing things, and then I met you, and then we tried front loading, and it while it's not a CRV protocol technique, Lynn, it's amazingly effective. I mean, having a little bit of data to front load is amazingly effective at allowing your brain to focus on what you need to focus. So, Dave here has got, what do you call it, unconventional viewing?
Oh, uncontrolled remote viewing,
Uncontrolled remote viewing.
which is actually a Lynn Buchanan joke.
So he's basically got a technique not similar to controlled remote viewing, and it's incredible how effective it is.
Well, it's just a protocol that's saying, because they kind of say that, blind is remote viewing, right? But most people accept some level of unblinding, right? Like where they'll accept front loading for, hey, it's a structure. Well, then if you say like it's a structure in the 1940s, then you say it's a structure in the 1940s in Europe, those are three levels of abstraction. So how can I document that level of front loading? And then when people do news, oftentimes they're not doing the news blind. They're like, I know I'm viewing the news, but I don't know what the news is yet. And there isn't really like a set target for it. So people accept that as remote viewing. Then the only level left that you like wouldn't have is, working fully unblind. So how can we document those levels of front loading for this?
Was there 5 levels? You said F5, right?
Yeah, F0 through F5. So F0 would be fully blind. F1 is I know one aspect, 2 aspects, 3 aspects. I know the tasking, but we don't know the target. And F5 is fully unblind. You know exactly what you're taking a look at.
Yeah. So
Okay, so I have a question here. So in this case, how would we uh prompt and cue the remote viewers to describe the target?
I don't know.
how about event?
I kind of want to talk about this after we stop recording.
We can. Yeah, no, we can.
Yeah.
So
Just tell the remote viewers that there is an event to view and describe the event,
Yeah.
something like that.
I guess I'll say it. This isn't one event, and I'm confused what the target is. It says, "Man, that's hot," and then I'm not even sure that that photo is associated with that contest. It might be. You have the February 22nd Laredo, Texas event,
It's
and then there's a winner of that, which is Jed Donahue.
yeah. So,
And then below that, it says this person struggling through DeSoto's Cinco de Mayo festival, which took place on May 8th this year. That's a different one.
but that's
It's a different event. And then they said the contest winner, 18-year-old Maria Riviere, consumed 37 peppers.
shit.
So there's like,
I didn't even see
in terms of tasking, this task isn't specific. I think the intent of the task is eating contests of spicy food. So I think the data that Lynn's looking for here is that you will have some sort of sensation, like you'll get a biological, you'll get foods, you'll get sensations of spiciness. You know what I'm saying?
I've always assumed, because I've done this target before, I assumed it was the event, but you just pointed out that it's several events. You pointed out
and
different dates. Holy crap.
it's all over the place. So I think it's more the concept. It's a conceptual target of the concept of this. But I'm still confused as I sit here as to what the target is. And as I looked in at Laredo, like there's that thing there. There are bridges over water with walkways next to them. So maybe like, you know, I displaced and I'm like, okay, I have no idea what's going on here. I'm going to describe something verifiable about the location. But how do you describe an entire city? You know what I mean? You can't describe like a city in one thing. So I wouldn't call that a hit, but I also wouldn't call this a good target because I don't know what it is. It's very all over the place. And it circles Laredo, Texas.
That's a fascinating look at this, because I mean, I was so focused on what was on hand, but you're talking about so many different layers of this that it's just, that's wild.
Yeah.
In a tasking, I'd like there to be something much more specific, like describe the event in this feedback photo exactly or only, right?
Yeah, so if we were going to describe this photo, this would be a much easier thing to look at. And there, you know.
Yeah.
And that photo, man, that's hot. That's from San Francisco Gate.
Really?
That's not even from Laredo.
What the hell? You know,
So like,
I've never caught in all his targets. I've never caught anything like this. I mean, I've never actually.
and if you, this is why I don't view Lynn's poll.
Really?
Because yeah, that's why I don't want to record it. And now we're on the recording. I'm sorry, it's true. I don't like the tasking. I don't get the task. I don't understand what this is. But that is from this, which says blowing a head gasket. Raymond Nava is that guy's name. Reaches critical mass during the Mexican Fiesta's jalapeno eating contest in Racine, Wisconsin. And that was posted by San Francisco Gate. So that's not even that. That's something totally different in Wisconsin.
Wow.
Right? Like, so if, I don't know, like this is, and if we look at, oh man, this is funny. So, can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on the same screen here where I'm recording. Oh no, I don't know what I'm doing because I'm also recording this. Okay, so I was saying Chicago, right? Like gives me Chicago vibes. And I was basically like this sort of river type thing, which is what we see in Laredo, right?
Right.
But then Racine, Wisconsin is apparently, which I didn't know where it is, apparently it's right here.
Which is
And they also have
big river.
a river thing. So all these cities seem to have that river feature, so it's not identifiable of any of them, right? But in terms of like where's the feedback photo, it reminded me of Chicago. There's Racine. but it turns out that like we're talking about 3 different
Wow.
events here. This is why I think that the tasking is actually the concept of a hot pepper eating contest and not actually one. But this is where like I didn't see that in like when they at the bottom they circle Laredo. It's like we're going to Laredo, except for there's actually 3 different things there.
So me and Snow went to Laredo. You guys went to everywhere else.
it sounds like a hit Racine. And then what is the common functionality thing there? There's like rivers going through them with these bridges and stuff, right? I don't know. Like I feel like that is just subconsciously saying it's a stretch. I don't know what data to provide, but I think that it is clear the intention was a conceptual target of eating contests. And I think the feedback, the way it was written, makes it seem like it's a specific one, and that causes confusion.
It's fascinating that you picked up the confusion. I mean, even before the contest, you picked up that confusion on the target, and to me, that is extremely fascinating because I had a hard time with the target, but I didn't equate it to the fact that the target is scattered. And I mean, how do you quantify?
Check this out. Gonna from the Cityogram, I open it as a packet. This is from my transcript. It almost feels like the tasking isn't set well. Like it's not set itself very well. So I'm amplifying the intention here. And I had to restart and connect to it to get to something. Right?
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, right from the start, I'm like, I don't like the tasking. Which is the classic remote viewer thing, to blame the tasker. You shouldn't do that. But yeah, I don't like the tasking.
Which is amazing.
And now I'm saying it on video. Damn.
But I mean, since I didn't know, I've never experienced it before. There's no way for me to actually say anything even close to that. So
yeah.
Now that I see what you're talking about, maybe I can recognize that later.
So actually, there are actually limits to what remote viewing can do, because if the tasking is not done right, then you probably won't get good results.
I feel like there's ways. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying I don't. The tasking was clear, so I'm trying to add clarity to that. I think there's other ways that you could correct it, and you could be like, okay, what is the intention of the tasking? Or you could say, I'm going to go view the feedback, or, you know what I mean? Whereas this, when I went and reset it, it sounds like it was like, go figure out something that you will get feedback for that will make you happy, right?
Well,
which isn't necessarily the target.
I use this one because it's from a professional website, yeah, Lynn Buchanan's website. So I assume
and plenty of people view it without problems. So I don't think it's a target thing. I think it's a me thing. It's just if I were to make a target, I wouldn't task it that vaguely.
So what it made remote viewers easier if we just give some additional prompts, like, okay, so we have got a remote viewing target, and the target number is 70462582, and we also added that the target is an event, and describe the event, also describe its purposes, or maybe provide a timeline for a maximum number. But of course, remote viewers do not know what these prompts are, but at least remote viewers have got some some as to what they should focus on.
So if there's the TRN and I did like some sort of number here, and then I were to do this in like technical remote viewing with their little query language, it would be like eating contests. Describe a jalapeno eating contest in detail, right? And this is like a conceptual target. You're not saying an act, and then like additional feedback would be like, here's 3 different events. One in Racine, Wisconsin. Here's one in Laredo, Texas. Here's one in, I don't know if Laredo is in DeSoto County, but that was a separate event, right? And then that's kind of like feedback for like, this is what we were looking for. But ultimately, the set intent would be something much more specific.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But does that mean that remote viewers would have a more difficult time if we ask them to look for the additional elements of it, like like same events but happen in different locations?
The more stuff that you add to it, the more complicated that it gets.
Oh, okay.
So the more specific that you are in the tasking, the more likely that you'll get a hit.
Okay, so the general rule of thumb is to make the tasking simple.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. Simple, very specific taskings. I remember in all the training targets that I would do with my mentor, he would basically just say, describe the thing in the feedback photo below only, right? Very specific, just whatever's in this feedback photo, that's what you're describing. And this is a target that doesn't specify a simple statement of intent. Like, for instance, we've been talking now for like a half hour on like, what is this target? Is it an event?
Okay.
Is it all the events? Is it a concept? Where is it? We don't know. And that level of confusion means that the viewer who's trying to play charades with it is also going to have that level of confusion.
Okay, I see. So here I think there's no alternative for me. I have to I because I pick the target, so I have to make sure that the target the tasking is simple and clear before we even assign it to remote viewer. So it means that I personally I should not be blind to it. Instead, I have to review all the targets before I make it a practice target.
Or you could consider switching to another target pool where like you've taken a look at a couple of them and you're like, I like the way that person tasks.
Is there any other target pools that you would like to recommend? Because I don't know.
Paul Smith.
There's a couple.
Yeah, Paul Smith.
Paul Smith has a good one.
Yeah, I like it.
I haven't seen his. I've done a bunch of Daz's targets. Daz's are good. They're often are lengthy as well, but they still have that one clear intention usually with them. And then I really like David Morehouse hosted a bunch of practice targets, but I've almost done all of those as well. But those are good ones as well. And he has the one line that is very simple with like 4 or 5 links for you to go like follow up on. And like sometimes the links aren't directly related, but it's like, here's what the general idea that we were looking for. And if this was written in like 2007 or something, maybe, tasking has changed in the last 20 years.
Oh yeah, because it's a very old target pool.
Yeah, the idea of tasking or something has kind of possibly been refined.
Yeah.
So if we were looking at it from that lens, I would kind of be like, I guess we can fit everybody's data into this, right? Like I'm describing location stuff. Most people describe locations. Some people got like the red, the hotness and things like that. But ultimately, I feel like it's too broad of a thing where you really could fit anything onto that tasking. Yeah. And I'm very surprised that none of us got a biological. But I guess I'm not surprised because the tasking wasn't a biological. The tasking was the concept. In my head, this is what I'm thinking it is, of a biological
we
performing the action.
We didn't get the biological, but we definitely got the tourist feel. I mean,
Yeah, we got that. I got that even.
The show. So, and that's the kind
public space.
Yeah.
Open area, public space, something like that. It'd be interesting if the contest was on a river, like for that one. Or any of them.
Hey, can somebody pull up the YouTube? Make sure we're still Still streaming?
Let me check. Yeah, it's still
I'm gonna
it's still running.
Okay.
I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Damn it.
How come?
I don't know, because I'm saying I don't like the tasking.
Oh, from Lynn Buchanan.
Yeah. My uncontrolled remote viewing literally is a joke from his definition of remote viewing, where he's like, you're either controlled or you're uncontrolled. Guess I'm uncontrolled.
I actually,
Like,
I actually wanted to. I wanted to either him or Lori. I wanted to go do his courses. Of course, I can't afford even to think about it. But I mean, I don't know how much it would have worked with me because of my style. But I mean, I would love to learn that CRV technique that they use. And Paul Smith. I would like to see what they offer. In fact, I'd like to do all three, but with what I know now, it's kind of hard. Can I go back to wanting to go to study CRV? I mean, can I go backwards now?
I think you can, because you're learning ideograms, you're learning all the sensory stuff, you're learning understanding where the relational components work, tangibles and intangibles, deconstructing the conscious AOLs that you produce. I really don't think there's anything that conflicts. It's just learning a bunch of tools for your tool set.
All right. And
You have people like David Powell who are using CRV almost exclusively. He does go to the whiteboard and has ways to work on conceptual targets, but he knocks stuff out of the freaking park using just that as
CRV.
a tool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's just if I ever get ahead, that would be one of my goals. So, well, that was fascinating. That I mean, we looked at a target, we danced around the target, and the target was so vague that we really couldn't answer the target without redefining it. So,
I'm happy with my data for a tasking like that.
I'm
And I literally said in my session, I'm just going to go do what I want to do, is what it seemed like. Yeah.
I'm thinking everybody did really good, which is kind of amazing. God, I am totally shut down.
No
Should I stop?
worries. No worries. I think that's all. That's good. That's all good for this week. Yeah. I also learned quite a lot from today's discussion.
This is good.
Well, I'll tell you.
By the way, Dave, can you give me some? Can you send me the links to the target pools that you will recommend? Because
Sure.
yeah, just send it to on the test channel, on the
Yeah.
Discord. Yeah,
And
because
if you do like a couple quick 10-minute
I would like
sessions
to
and like get a
take a
feel
look.
for the tasking, you'll be like, oh, this is interesting. It's like very specific.
Yeah, and I would like to compare different target pools and to see the differences, and
Yeah.
maybe
I know another person that tasks like paragraphs, and it's literally like you open the session feedback and it's just this like large paragraph, and then I'm like, what are they asking for? I miss every single one of those. Everyone. Yeah. And I think that's something that I probably can figure out and work on, where, like if I open it up and I feel like there's some ambiguity, there should be a movement command that I can make in order to hit the target correctly. So
yeah.
I feel like a skilled enough viewer would be able to understand this was a conceptual target or something like that, and would be able to get the biological and the heat sensation. It's just we're all training and getting there.
So if we wanted to focus on new, completely new with no concept whatsoever, and we want targets that are easy to find, should I go out and take pictures of cows, chickens, rocks, and stuff, and actually put intent on this picture, saying I want a description of this picture? Is that easier to a new person to feel and smell and taste?
One of the things with training targets is you need to limit the gestalts, right? Like if you just are like, here's the earth, and describe the entire Earth all at once. There's so much stuff going on there, and there's just too much data, right? So getting down to exactly what you're supposed to experience. One of the classic training targets is like an ice sculpture of a person, because like, is it a person? Is it a structure? Is it water? There's all these like weird states and stuff to go through. You know what I mean? So those types of targets where there's pools that step you through that stuff. Now on the intention side of it, there's different types of ways that you can view a target. You can say, I want to view the intention of the tasker, which is what I was doing, right? There's other ways you can go about it, because you could have an AI task you, but when the AI tasks you, there's no intention behind it. So you can self-task and say, I'm setting my intention to view this thing. You can say, show me the feedback. There's all these like different ways to get to the thing that you're supposed to be correctly viewing. Now, Daz, I know he's mentioned before that on his target pool, he spent like 5 minutes focusing on the intention of each one of the files that he puts on his website. So he said he spent a lot of time really formulating and setting the intention on every task. So if I'm like, connect to Daz's intention for this file, usually something is pretty well formed there. And I know Dick Algar talks a lot about that as well, where he puts a lot of conscious intention into the tasking, that side of it.
Is Dick Algar the future forecasting guy, the older guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, his contest with the people is just fascinating to watch or listen at all that.
Yes.
His post analysis on that, he was saying that he put a lot of intention in, but he also believed he polluted it by thinking of a couple things. And then he shared that, where he was like, this is how you can do a better job being a tasker, only tasking one thing, getting very specific with the intent. So that was very helpful that he shared all that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I talked too much.
No, this is awesome stuff.
I would say,
Yeah.
really appreciate that. It's very so much informative, I would say. Yeah.
And that's why
Thank you.
that's why I think having a tasker dedicated to being the tasker is having these cool targets is great, but in order for new people to learn this or even try this would be having a dirt simple target.
Part of it that could help too is most people are probably going to become a tasker as well. So if you get a group like this together, we could do a rotation where, like one person does the target every week, because then they get to experience being a tasker.
Oh.
And then not only do you like analyze the session data, you analyze how do we feel about this tasking.
Oh, wow. Because you can actually...
There's a whole art of tasking correctly, yeah.
You can actually get a feel for how the target is interpreted through the other people's data, and you can actually modify your tasking to allow for better... Oh, that's cool.
There's a feeling with each person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, right. I mean, I got that with Bertie, I got that with Lynn. I mean, all the people on the Discords, I get a different feeling for how they interpret and their data.
I hear things. I should be in a mental institution. I heard something that there is clarity on the tasking. Why? It said, I heard this like a deranged lunatic. This is that target. Select your desired level of tasking. Basic, intermediate. Oh, so did we use the basic one?
Oh, this is the target index from Lynn's
Yes.
thing.
So we viewed the basic one. Is there a different one for intermediate?
No, it's all. I think it's all the same.
So I wonder if they did 3 different ways of analysis.
That's the single line intent. The target is an event. Describe the event. Also describe its purposes. But I mean, that's still incorrect. It's not an event. It's a conceptual event or multiple events. And then, yeah, there's only one set of feedback.
Huh.
I remember like one time in one of the practice targets, I got a skier going down a hill and I was like, described mountains off in the distance, but I didn't describe the skier or anything. And we were reviewing it and I was like, that's an AI hillside or like a 3D hillside with a 3D image. And like we like look closer and we're like, oh, that's not even a person. That's like a fake image. And then off in the background were real mountains, and I only described the mountains.
So you didn't see the skier.
No. And that was a 3D digital target. Which that's a whole thing to go view too. Like, can you view output from Midjourney?
It's funny because that you're picking up a 3D image of a AI produced alteration. But
So
several times I've heard you say that it feels like God, what was the word you used? This doesn't feel real. It feels like can't remember.
projection.
It could be. It'll come to me in about 10 minutes. I'm having a brain fart, but you've used that term several times when you're looking at something that may or may not be real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to think that you can spot an AI on a picture, because from what I understand, they're using AI to change pictures in order to track stock market changes. So they take a basic picture, they make changes to it according to what the stock does, and then the viewer goes in time to time and date that they want to look at, record the changes in this image, and then put it on a data sheet, and from the changes in the image, this is what they base their stock predictions on. I mean, they use it for trying to figure out, best high-low times. But if you can detect that 3D change or 3D feel, I mean, now I'm kind of wondering is if you can feel the 3D, can you detect changes in the 3D image over time? Can it be altered in the future in order to do something like that for picking stocks? How viable is that actually? Because I've never thought about looking at a 3D image and trying to pick up the feel for it. And I've never actually used that process for trying to pick stocks or coin. And that would be a real money-making thing if you can actually get it to work. So, I just don't know how you can. It's one thing to feel a 3D image. It's another thing to actually see the changes in it.
Yeah.
So, but could you task yourself to do that?
I feel like you can self-task to do anything. It's more of, did you use the tool at the time that you did your session? Or are you aware that you can do that?
That's kind of like saying I want a hammer in my hand and then having a hammer in your hand
Yeah.
every time you need it.
Yeah. You call it going Jeffro Destructo, right?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'm blocked. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna break down the walls.
Yeah.
You can break down the walls, and you can do that. Sasha and David from Magic in the Noise, they have a good video on that as well.
I actually did one of their targets, so it was fairly interesting. Anyways, Lynn, I get so sidetracked. I am so sorry.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, it's so interesting to hear you guys talk.
Paul, you're gonna have to stay online afterwards. We got some cool stuff to talk about. There's this contest thing. So if we want to do where we do the rotating taskers, I think that's a great idea. And then what we'll do is we'll put the target number up and the tasker name up. So if the tasker puts a lousy target up, then we can all blame and laugh at the tasker.
Yeah, I think it's definitely
I don't
worth
miss.
What's that? You don't miss?
I don't miss. It was the tasker's fault. It's like bowling. It wasn't my fault. It was the oil on the lane. No,
Yeah.
that's my fault. I missed. So.
Oh, spectacularly. The ham thing. You've got to tell Lynn about the ham thing. That is just, that was pretty awesome. But yeah, we'll do that for the contests. And yes, Dave does
That's good.
miss. So, well, cool.
And
Everybody misses.
I
Yeah.
also see that Birdie said in the test channel that she would volunteer for that. I take random pictures all the time.
I would like to see. I'd like to see Birdie, and then I'd like to see snowblind task. I'm really interested. I don't. Have you guys dealt with snowblinds? I want to say how snowblind feels. I want to see if how he feels passes through to his tasking. So when we do these tasking things, we're really going to get a feel for the individual, and it's going to be interesting. I want some feedback on how people feel about the task and the individual person tasking it. So maybe it's going to be a two-part thing.
People feel differently. Like you get a sensation when somebody gives you a task. When I took that one from Dumbledore, I was actually very surprised. I was like, this is all put together, coherent, very specific. And I felt like we had like a really good session on it. But I feel like that wasn't just me. I feel like a good part of it was the tasking was really well done.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Now I've done Lynn's tasks. I've done a lot of Lynn's tasks, so I got a real good feel for how he puts stuff together. I still have a hard time with some of them, but some of them I have a real tight feel, and it feels good. Dumbledore, I've done many tasks, and like you say, it's compartmentalized, and I failed spectacularly, but it definitely feels different. But I'm excited. This is going to be next contest is going to be good. Who are we going to get for tasking? Who's going to do the first task? Why don't you do the first task, Glenn? Shit, this is your contest. Excuse me. Shoot. This is your contest, so why don't you do the first task?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
So next time I wouldn't be. So next time I wouldn't be participating in the practice target as a remote viewer. But instead I will play the role of a tasker.
Well, actually, on that note, why don't you try, you pick out a target, and you take a picture, and you get all the data that you know, and then you actually do a remote view on it. Was it F5?
Yeah. If we're pulling a tasking from an existing pool or something, if you're going to do that, you can still do the same thing, right? Or were you saying that
Yes.
you would select the, yeah.
Yeah, I just have to make sure that the target is the tasking is clear and will not cause confusion for remote viewers.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's no reason you can't be front-loaded and view the target. Unless this is a target that
Yeah.
you actually have been to and know about. But see, you can go to a target. I've been to several targets that I know about, and then I remote view them later, and I get a different aspect of it. So you really ought to try going to whatever target you pick out and do a remote view. It doesn't have to be intense, but you may pick up something more to the target. Front loading is a really strange beast. Give it a shot, and then I'd like to see the data on it too after everything's done, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I got to get going, guys.
all right. Well, thanks
Thanks for having
Dave.
me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. That actually we have to. I think we can close today's discussion. Yeah, because it's been 1.5, almost like 2 hours on your side.
Have we really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's almost noon for me.
All right.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Well,
See
thank
ya.
you, man. Okay.
See ya.